But it's Christopher Dixieland Farm, and so I'm working from home for the next couple of weeks since I'm recovering from knee surgery, and I'm still taking medication that makes me unable to drive, which is fine. So I'm sitting here anyway. I'm doing work on the laptop. Might as well go ahead and transfer some albums. So I did this years ago. I've got a TIAC little recorder here that's recording at 24-bit 44.1. So it doesn't have to do the conversion for 44.1, but it records at 24 bits. So that way I don't have to be so exact with the volume. I can actually record kind of at a low volume and then boost it in the computer. This way I'm not distorting anything when I record. Much safer way of doing things. So what I do is I just go ahead and hit record on it, and I've got one of these little things that'll lift the arm when it gets to the end of the record. So when I hear that thing kind of click, it'll pick it up off the run I grew, so it doesn't just keep going forever and ever. And that's how I know the side is over. So just recording this stuff, and then I'll transfer it onto the computer.
There it goes, it just raised. So just have to hit stop here, and we'll take out the memory card and start working on it. Okay, everybody, so what I'm going to do now is I've loaded up here Wavebreaker, a program that I'm going to use to break up the wave files into individual parts. And you can see the waveform there where it's got plenty of headroom. So what I do is I run this little script called normalize wave that just basically looks for any wave files and automatically adjusts everything so the peaks are as loud as they can be without distortion. And you do that per album side because when they're mixing, when they're mastering, sometimes one side of the album is louder than the other. Not always. So, but if they're trying to compress more music, they might lower the volume more than they would on the other side, which might be a little more dynamic. So I've got all my riffs here and I've named them. So I just do normalize wave here, and you can see one of them got raised 7 dB, another one got raised 2 dB here. So if we open up the Bowie one that I just did, Bowie A got raised by it looks like 6 dB, so quite a difference. So let me go open here. You can see quite a big difference now, right? And I've lost nothing because I'm recording at 24-bit. There's no degradation of sound by recording a little bit lower and boosting it up. At 16-bit, there would be. Now, one of the things I need to do now is do click repair, and what that's going to do is that's going to open up the click repair program here. Unfortunately, this program is no longer available. It's written in Java, but unfortunately, I believe the author has died. So what I can do is I can open up a batch mode here, and then bring in a different bunch of files and go ahead and declick them. So now that I've raised the volume, I can go ahead and declick and clean up the audio. Okay, sorry about that. So I just had to write a quick little program to convert these to 16-bit after I was done with the click repair stuff. So I just grabbed a quick little command line that I saw online and it took care of it. So we've got a little bit in the beginning. Right about there is where we want to start our track break, because everything before that is garbage and then everything after that is good. So listen again. There's another one. Usually you can see them. There we go. And then usually at the fade out, right? So this is where you can see the needle or the tone arm lifts. So we'll just kind of listen. Still got some music. Usually you can kind of tell when it gets into the run out groove, which is right there. So all that nice crackle and pop gets removed using the click repair program, and I've broken up all the different pieces here. So now all we need to do is convert it. So we just do wave to MP3, which runs a little tiny script that I made, and it basically converts everything over to 192K variable. So you can see the variable bitrate, a lot of it hangs around 256 or 320. When I'm digitizing, I'm fine with MP3s. I've got the vinyl. I don't need FLAC, wave, or even 320K MP3s. The 192 variable bit in my A/B blind test, I can't hear the difference. So for the space savings, it's worth it. And it'll just rip through all of these MP3s, and then I'll move them, and then I'll start tagging them, and then we're done. So again, just going through the process, what I've done is I recorded the audio on my little Zoom recorder there. It takes no time at all. 24-bit audio, 44.1K sample rate. So I recorded 24 bits so that way the volume is not so important. The bit rate equals the noise floor. So at 16-bit you have to be pretty careful at setting the volume. You do not at 24-bit. You can raise the volume quite a bit and the noise floor, you won't hear the difference. So while some of those have been 7, 8 decibel raised, you don't hear any difference. So I do that so that way I don't accidentally overload, because each album is different on what the engineer decided to set the levels at. So doing that gives me some headroom. I went ahead and normalized, so I brought up the volume of everything. So one side of the album equals the other side of the album, because sometimes the album sides are not the same. And I've now brought it up so that way it's perfectly set the levels, right, without doing any damage. Then I ran it through a click repair program, which again is no longer offered, but there are other click repair programs that are available. But I just like this one because it's fairly non-destructive. It does just a good job without being pristine. It doesn't sound sterile, right? It just kind of gets rid of the noise, but it still has that vinyl sound to it. Then I converted to the 16-bit rate so that way I could run it through the Wave Breaker program. It's all going to be converted to 16-bit anyway. So since I've already raised up the volume, I converted the audio to 16-bit, broke up the different pieces of the WAV file, then converted to MP3s, and then I ran it through a tag program so everything's nice and tagged, and cover art downloaded and done. It's a little bit of a process, but it's not too hard. And you can see I did like 6 albums, pretty much all at once. So that is my digitizing process. Thanks for watching. Bye.